Hey guys, so here we are with Earth Reborn Scenario 8. In this scenario we'll learn about capture and torture. So in terms of the map setup, you end up with the same thing as me. There were a few restrictions. One was that Cherokee Bill had to be placed somewhere legal in this kitchen. Second restriction, James Wu had to be in this bedroom on that bed. And then the fourth restriction, the NORADs had to be coming from outside, had to be placed on outdoor pieces, whereas the Salamites were placed on indoors. Now there is a bit of strategy to my placement. This is my second time playing through this scenario, and my second time actually recording it as well. So I'll explain to you the logic right after I explain to you how capture works. So James Wu is currently trapped in a room, but he isn't captured. He's still alive, he's just on his injured side, and not well. So how you perform a capture is it works the same way as close combat, except you just announce that you're doing a capture. And so rather than rolling to do damage, you're rolling to capture. And a successful capture is defined by bringing an opponent's life points down to 0. So in this case, if I was attacking him from behind, I announced that I was doing a capture, and I rolled 5 damage, 5 minus the 2 would give me the 3 needed to successfully capture. If I were to get 4 damage in that scenario, I wouldn't do 2 wound markers to him or anything. The capture is just unsuccessful. So that's how capturing works. Then in terms of torture, if you're holding a captured character, you can choose to torture him by interacting with them. So there's no torture symbol on character cards, and another restriction is that only the Salamite players are able to torture. So anyways, no torture symbol on the cards, and how it works is each command point you spend on an interact towards torture gives you a black die. So the search dies. However, you won't be able to use any search points. The only thing you're looking for is spy points. You're torturing someone trying to get information out of them. And for Salamite, that's going to be their main way to score mission points in this scenario. Okay, so in terms of setup, my thoughts. So James Wu is trapped in a room on his injured side, but not quite yet captured. So I have 2 able-bodied men right here. Jacksaw and Jeff Dealer ready to come in here to do their best to capture him. And then what I want to do as quickly as possible is run him over to the torture chamber, which will give me 2 extra dice every time I do a torture roll. So the idea is that I have basically all my characters in this room, and just they'll be passing around the torture kit that Jeff Dealer is currently holding, and they'll just be passing them around and torturing and doing their best to get as many spy points as they can before this mech crashes the party and runs in here. I have Cherokee Bill far away in the kitchen just because he can be taken over by the NORAD player for a whole round, and I don't want him getting in my way. And then I also have Kendall here in the armory, and he's just going to be doing search rolls, doing his best to find weapons, because the Salamites are very unequipped, so it'd be nice to have weapons to try and stop Vasquez. And the reason for that, so basically the NORAD has control of 2 powerhouse characters, and then James Wu. Vasquez is a powerhouse this round because the equipment she has. She has the Kevlar armor, she has a knife, so her close combat is already a default 9 if she's being attacked by Dark Blue. She has a motion detector, she also has morphine to heal herself, and a sniper. The Mammoth is, of course, just a huge beast, and is carrying grenades and a radio scrambler. And then they have the injured James Wu. Now, a special condition for this scenario is that the Salamites can't kill James Wu. So how do you get mission points? What's our objectives? So for the Salamites, it's to get spy points. Each spy point you get will give you a mission point. For the NORAD, if they get James Wu out of the map free and alive before the end of the 6th turn, they get 20 points. Each zombie they kill will give them 3 points, and then killing Kendo or Jeff Dealer will give them 5. So their main thing is to get to James Wu as fast as possible and escape, putting them at 20 points. However, if the Salamites manage to muster 20 mission points before they are able to do that, then the NORAD's going to have to do some killing to make up for it. Okay, so great. So over here we got the NORAD with the initiative marker, and during the initiative phase, one thing I also did during placement was I made sure that Jeff Dealer here had line of sight to Jacksaw, who is a zombie. Jeff Dealer's special ability is that any zombies he has in his line of sight during the initiative phase receive 2 additional command points that will allow that character to surpass his command point limit by that many. So Jacksaw can spend 6 command points this turn, which is huge. And so they have initiative, and what am I thinking? I'm gonna activate Jacksaw first and see if we can get James Wu here captured. Sorry, other choices I had. I got to choose who was holding the torture kit and who was holding key cards. So I have one here attached to Jacksaw who is activated now. Now I'm looking for movement and high combat, and I saw that I drew a huge one. So I'll spend 1 command point straight away on movement. For Jacksaw, of course, looking at our movement icon, that'll be 3. To open a door will be 1. 2 to step through it. And then I'll actually stop there because I won't have enough to run around them. So I'll do this face to face. Then I'm going to spend 4 more command points. And I'll spend 2 from here. And I'll spend 2 from here. So that gives me 4. So close combat, we've got dark blue versus dark blue. So for Jacksaw, 4 dice. The additional 3, 7 dice up against James Wu, injured side, right? So 2 automatic plus his 2D, so 4D against 7 dice. And before I roll, I have to announce that I'm rolling for capture. Right, so no matter what, he won't take damage. However, if I can bring his life points to what would have been to 0, had it been a regular attack, then he's considered captured. If I fail to do so, there's no damage done, and he's still free to run. So here's 6 of my 7 dice. And I'll re-roll this one here. So we have 8 up against 4. 8 minus 4, more than enough. So we got 4 damage, and so James was captured. So immediately what happens is we'll take him away from the Solemnite players because we're not going to be able to activate him. And he's going to count as a 1-weight equipment card, essentially, for Jacksaw. So we have the marker to symbolize that he's been captured, and Jacksaw will be carrying him. So we'll just sort of have him attached here, and again, his weight value is 1, okay, for any captor. I said captor, for any victim, I guess, for any victim. Anyways, that was a great turn by Jacksaw. So we finally have James Wu captured early on, and we're going to see if we can get him out of there ASAP. Over to the north side, we have options. Do we want to break in here as soon as possible and get some shots off? Or do we want to activate Frank Einstein and get 2 free points, which will make it very difficult for the Solemites? I think for this turn, the best play is to break in here and get line of sight as soon as possible. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to start with the mech here, and I'm going to spend 1 command point to see if I can't do a special ability. So 1 command point, wherever his red zone's facing, you can attack the 2 spaces, and so it'll be these walls here. I get 3 dice. If I get 4 damage, success. So 3 dice for 4 damage, good odds, we'll see. And nice, plenty of damage. So again, when we're using this giant miniature for broken walls, we'll be using from this stash here. If another character is to break a wall, even if it's a small wall, we'll still be grabbing from this pile. So the mech does have a finite amount of ammo, however it varies depending on the scenario and how much other characters break walls and so forth. So first wall down. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to use that same ability actually. And we're going to be breaking this door here. So once again, 3 dice, trying to get 4 damage. Here we go. Success. Again, it's the ability, so out of ammo, none of that matters. And even though this door specified that it needed 5 damage, his ability says 4, so we can ignore that as well. Although in this case, he would have had enough to successfully do that. Now, because it's not covering anything, we don't need to waste one of his broken wall markers, so we're good there. And now, Jeff Dealer has line of sight for the first time. So will he interrupt? Let's come over here and see. If he were to interrupt, he would run really far. He would use this, giving him what? 8 movement. I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, Oh, sorry, James was captured, so I'll actually just put that character on his card. Right now, Jacksaw's holding him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So enough to get out of sight. That's not bad. We do have a lot of command points. Sure, we'll say we'll interrupt and we'll bid 3. And if it works, great. You know, Jeff Dealer's in the clear. And if it doesn't, that's actually okay too. So 3 command points, and we'll see how it goes. Over here, how desperate are we for this? Now the Norrads actually only have 2 characters, right, and a bunch of tokens, so they're going to do their best to shut down all interrupts by consistently bidding like 3 or 4. So they did bid enough to stop this, unfortunately, so Jeff Dealer's trapped, and these are spent. So because Norrad's active, the tie goes to them, and they'll get to continue their turn, so no pausing. We're now looking for a shoot and a walk, and we've got one here, so that's the one we'll use. Okay, so 1 command point here to move, and again, for the mammoth that'll be 4. If I want a turn, I'll have to spend 1 of those movement points. So I have 4 points on movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and now we're going to see if we can't shoot Jeff Dealer. So for our last command point available to be spent on this mammoth, we'll spend it on shooting. And since I've done that, we can now check targeting. So our opponent checks, there is line of sight, and then we will do targeting, so 4 dice. Now I have to make it 3 spaces, so I can go from the closest square with arc of sight that has line of sight, so I'll be going from this one. 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 out of from these 4 dice. The mammoth is doing some great rolling, so again, this would mean automatic targeting, even if all these were nothing. So we did get it, and now we get to do our damage. So because it's in the red arc, we'll get 4 dice. We don't have any extras to add dice, so 4 dice up against Jeff Dealer's armor of 3. So this could have hurt him, we'll see. 4 up against his armor of 3. We'll give him 1 wound. So, wow, not that damaging to the Salamites. And that'll be the end of the mech's turn. That's all the mammoth can do. And so we'll come back over to the Salamite side. So the Salamite's going to do the same plan. Just do their best to run away. And so the first thing they're going to do is activate Jeff Dealer. He is in line of sight of the mammoth, but as we just stated, they have no more command points left to be spent on the mammoth, right? He's at his max CP. So he can't interrupt, and he's the only one with line of sight. So I'm looking here for just high movement, and 2 is going to be the highest I can get. Okay, so I'll swipe this, and we'll do a quick runaway here from Jacksaw. So I'll spend 2 points on movement because I know I won't be interrupted. It'll look something like this. So 1, 2. Now I'm going to swipe James Wu from Jacksaw and move him to Jeff Dealer, who now has 3 weights on him. So 2 from here, 1 for the captive, which is within his 3 weight allowance. So we have 8 movements. We spent 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just going in this corner here to try to hide from line of sight if Vasquez runs through here. She won't be able to see me. And then the last thing I'm going to do is my orientation. Doesn't make sense to be facing the wall like that, so I'm going to have him facing out with his strong side, ready to fight, and forcing Vasquez to spend more points if she wants to try close combat. And that's all I can do in terms of movement. I could torture him here, but I'm going to wait and get him into that room before I torture him. Cool. Now over to the NORAD side. Let's see what we have. We do have high movement and shoot. So we could send Vasquez running through. However, I think the smarter play, because Frank Einstein's right there, I think the smarter play is to use 2 command points to try and get 2 points straight away. So we're going to engage Frank Einstein from the Salamite side because his character ability, he still hasn't been engaged, so the Nord spent 2 command points of his max of 5. They're going to get 2 dice. If they get 4 search points, then they're going to get 2 spy points. 2 dice, 4 search points, so it is likely. They only got 3 though, so too bad, and that'll be it for their turn. Now the reason I did that, they only have 2 characters and they have a lot of command points, so they should be using them over here as much as they can. The reason I didn't activate Cherokee Bill is because he's in the middle of nowhere, so it'd suck for me to use my turn just running him over here, and then for him not to be able to do anything else this round, and so for the next like final phase, he's in position to attack the NORADs, right? So it could backfire, is why I was hesitant on that. Okay, over to here they have Cherokee Bill, and Salamites are also hesitant for the same reason. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to activate Kendall, and we're going to perform a search order. So I'm going to attach this to him, and we'll spend 4 here on search. And he, by the way, is in the armory, so he's the guy looking for weapons for us. And I chose him, 1, because he's not very strong, 2, because he's an amazing searcher. So the first one here, 3 dice, and then 3 more. So we have 6 dice of search happening. We got a spy point, which of course can't be converted into mission points because we're on the Salamites' home base. So this will be used to organize cards and dig through them. I have to figure out how I want to do this. So let's start off by using let's tally up actually our search points. Let's see what we have here. So 6, 9, 10, 11, 1 flip and 1 spy. So 11 points with a flip and a spy. So let's use one of those points, bring us down to 10. We have a flail, so a slight upgrade. Good for close combat, but not good enough for me to throw away everything else I have here. So going down to 9 search points. We have a chainsaw, which actually can't be found in the armory. I'm going to slide these cards down a bit, so that'll be easier for me to flip through them. Okay, going down to 8 search points. Toxic gas capsule, eh? Not bad. Can't be grabbed from this room. I'm going to keep pushing my luck. Going down to 7. See, this is a close combat thing worth taking. However, is it worth taking to the point where I don't get to use anything else? I'll say yes. So what I'm going to do is, I still have 6 spy points left, so that's more than enough for this 3 here, and then I'm in the armory, so I can pick this up. But before I do that, I'll spend my spy point, and I'll get to see the top 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I'll get to look at both sides of them. So we have a heavy bolter. Okay, so I don't think the heavy bolter is better than the titanium claws. However, my opponent can't see what I'm doing right now. So what I would do is I'll throw this on top, and I like hiding the card that I see here. So I might come back for it next time. Next search I do with Kendall. And instead I'll spend my last 6 or 7 search points to grab this, which only needs 3. And greatly amps up your close combat. So this will be attached to Kendall, who meets the weight allowance, of course, as it is 0. Good job, Kendall. Way to get some titanium claws for the team. And there's our search order performed again. Over to the NORAD side. They still have a lot of stuff here, but as I said, I don't want to grab Cherokee Bill just to spend 12 on movement to get him close to the match. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 to open the door, 5, 6, 7, 8 to open the door, 9, and he can 9 and then 10 he can finally shoot because he has line of sight. And like I'll get one thing off on the shoot order. I mean, he has a great gun. He's got the flamer here. So you pretend it's the flamer equipment card, and I'll show you how that works at some point. But I don't think I'll do it right now. I think what will I do with those command points? That is what we're going to do. I have no better use for them. I could dig for tiles, but I'll do this instead. So I'll spend 2 command points and activate Cherokee Bill, and until the final phase, he is played by the NORAD player. So I'll actually move him over. You can do whatever helps you remember that he's on the NORAD side. And that's it. Over to the Salamites. So everyone has now been activated. So what I'm going to do is activate Jeff Dealer again. We're we're going to see if we can't start torturing poor James Wu. So let's do this here. Spend 1 on the movement, and that'll give me 4 movement points. Oh no, hold up. I made a bad mistake. I'm not going to reactivate Jeff Dealer. I'm going to instead activate Frank Einstein. We'll attach this to him. I'll spend 1 on movement. And here we go. And I'll show you why right now. So we have a sliding door here. And Jeff Dealer forgot to take the key from Jacksaw. So 1, 2. So we need whoever's there to, whoever's outside to have the key to get in. 3, 1, 2 to open the door. 3. What are we doing? What I'm trying to do is figure out a way to get our guy inside, and that'll require 2 movement points from Frank Einstein. Okay, so that's what we have to do. This is not legal, switching tiles mid-thing. I have to do it though, otherwise we'll end up in a really bad spot. So 1, 2 to open the door, 3, 4 to step on Jeff Dealer here. And what's going to happen is I will give up my key card to him in exchange for his hostage. So that's step 4. Step 5 will put me back here, and then I have 5 more to work with, and I'll just step to the side here. And because that's the end of his turn, this will close. Sorry about going back on that. Keep in mind your opponent does not have to let you do that. Okay. So Vasquez is next up to be activated, and so I will do that, and I'll just get her running a bit. So I'll turn her sideways. We'll just get something with some good movement, and we'll see how close we can get her to the action. 1, 2. I'm kind of fearless with her just because she's got that upped armor, and she's an absolute beast. She really is with all this stuff, and she's also got morphine on her. Like, they made her as indestructible as possible because it's basically her who has to get into these narrow places. Something I didn't explain. So how do you save James Wu, right? So the NORAD players are trying to escape with them. The escape is through the torture chamber, through here, open this door, down here, and in here. So that's how you escape. So it's a long journey. Okay, so here we go with Vasquez. So I put 3 on her movements, and let's see how they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So Jacksaw has line of sight for the first time, but he's not going to interrupt. As we discussed, Vasquez is very good at close combat, so he's not going to bother her. So what's that put us at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Again, he's not going to interrupt. 4, 5, and this is the first time they have line of sight. Or I know what here was, sorry. So straight line, corners don't block. So at 4, they have line of sight. Jeff Dealer, does he care? Jeff Dealer, what do you got going on? Do we have a shoot we can give you? Nope. We're okay with this. We'll let this happen. Or wait, is there a run? Is there a movement? Yeah, but then the door's open and she can get in. No, I think we've got to let it happen, unfortunately. 5, 6. And then I did have 1 more movement on her, but I think I'll stop her there. So coming over here, we'll pretend I didn't do this, and we're going to attach 2 here to the shoot order. So for Vasquez, the opponent checks to make sure there is line of sight, and there is. They're both standing on no line of sight squares, so they don't actually impede line of sight if you're standing on them. Then the distance for targeting, so now that we've checked line of sight, is 1, 2. Vasquez gets 2 here, plus a bonus 3 from the sniper, so 5 dice. And I'm just going to roll 4 of them, just to try and avoid that out of ammo symbol. I only need 2 between them, and I got just 2. So maybe that was pushing it, and but we got the targeting, so now we get to move on to damage. 2 dice, and I'll spend this extra 1 for a 3rd. Keeping in mind that extra command point on the shoot order could be spent on targeting. So I did 2 damage, which isn't going to be enough, I don't think. Jeff Dealer's defense is 3, so no hit points there. That's the end of Vasquez's turn. Now over to this side, I think we got to get Jeff Dealer out of there. So I think that's the right place. So I'll spend this here, and now that he's been reactivated, I'll announce I'm reactivating Jeff Dealer and give the NORADs the opportunity to interrupt. Will they? Yeah, they got Vasquez first off, has the motion detector, so anything works as an interrupt. But she only has 1 command point left to spend, and I don't think that's worth it, especially to waste these good shoots, so I'm not going to do that. So Jeff Dealer will get to do his action, whatever it may be, and in this case, it's going to be some movement and then some torture. So he'll spend 1 here, and I'll give him 5 movement again. He does have the key card now. So 1, 2 to open the door, 3, 4, and on this, I'm going to actually grab Wu from Frank Einstein, and then 5. And that'll conclude my movement, but not my turn. So when I met up with Frank Einstein, I actually took James Wu again, took him back, and now I'm going to show you how torture works. So we have these 4 command points left to work with. We're going to spend 2 of them on the interact. So you announce your torturing, and you can only torture who you're holding, right? So that's why I'm passing them back and forth. So here we are at my max CP, and I spent 2 of them on a torture, so that means 2 dice. Automatically, there's no reference on the character cards, just 2 dice straight up. However, by holding the torture kit, I'm going to get another 2. And then, because I'm standing in the torture chamber, I'm going to get another 2. So 6 dice, and again, search points mean nothing. The only thing I'm looking for are spy points, which can be spent however I want, but I'll spend them on mission points if I get them. So we got 2, so that's good if we can do that, right? Because I have the torture kit and all of that. So for the Selamite 1, 2, because I have the torture kit and all that, I mean that I only spent 2 of my command points on the torture, and I got 2 spy points. So that's really good, right? That's as good as an iconography as a tactical roll. Now because my turn's done, this door is going to close, locking out Vasquez. So with these last 4 command points, I don't know if I want to get Cherokee Bill involved. 1, 2, 3, open. 1, 2, 3, open. 1, 2, 3, and then he's got 1 command point left to shoot that. Okay, sure. I'm going to show you Cherokee Bill's special ability at the risk of the NORAD player, but we do need 3 movement for this to work, and we don't have it. I guess the Selamite's not doing anything though, so we can really take our time with this. So 2 here to give us 8 movement, and here's what that's gonna look like. 1, 2, 3, open the door. So that's 4 to open it. 5, 6, 7, and then I would open the door, but it's gonna close right now because my turn's done. So that's the end of that. Back over to the Selamites. We got 2 command points left. And we actually have no orders left. What I could have done is, and what I plan to do, is I'm going to pass James Wu around between Frank Einstein and Jeff Dealer, and they're just going to take turns torturing him. So he can't wait to be rescued. But here goes a command point to hopefully draw some good interact, to get off some torture. And what I'm actually looking for, like 3 is great, but I would be happy with 2 low interacts rather than 1 high one. Just because the torture kit and the room are giving me 4 dice on their own. Back over here, we'll attach another movement to Cherokee Bill. So 4 more movement points. 1 to open this door. 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the flamer to try and shoot that thing. And so here's how that works. Flamer, I'm sorry, I'm going to quickly reference the card. So it behaves the exact same way as the flaming thing. I'm going to keep you guys on for this. So here I am in equipment, I'm looking for flamer, sorry. Starts in the first square in front of the shooter. Okay. What threw me off was the fact that Cherokee Bill had targeting. However, that doesn't apply for his flamer is what threw me off. So here's how it works. So the flamer in terms of spaces, and it's just something you have to memorize. I could have shown you while I had that book pulled out, but I forgot to. So here's how it works: is this will be a red zone, and this will be a red zone. Okay, so 2 red zones. In the case of Cherokee Bill, that's 3 dice, right, for his flamer. So that value right there. Now for the orange zones, so red, red, and then you're going to do 3. So 1, 3, and then 5. So 1, red, red, and then orange, orange. And then you're going to do 5 worth of orange. So you had 3 here, then it's going to be 5. So in this case, it'll go to the edge of the map, orange, 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 orange. Now again, you can only hit those places if you bust through the doors blocking them and the walls blocking them. So red, red. So that means these doors are going to take red hits. Now importantly, I can't remember where Kendall was. So I'll put him here in the corner, subjective to the damage for now. However, I'll confirm next. If he takes damage, I'll be double checking his placement before starting the next round. So here we go. Both these doors are red. So I'll do this one first, and for the red, it's going to be 3 dice. That door has a 4 damage threshold, so we'll see if he can break through with 3. Not unreasonable at all. And he got 5. So for damage against objects and close combat, that's going to count as 3, right? Or sorry, for objects, not close combat, but for objects, that'll count as 3. So 5. And is it covering anything? It's not. So we broke through that door, which is a good thing, a really good thing. He still doesn't have line of sight with anyone, nor could they interrupt during this attack. They'd have to wait a second, I believe, until the explosions resolve. So this door is also going to be 3 dice, looking for 4 damage. Again, a major roll, so 7, so he's broken through. Now in terms of that spacing, so this is going to be an orange zone, which in this case is 2 automatic hits. This is 2 automatic hits, and only requires 1 damage. So we'll take an explosion, and you can find it on the back of a few of these, but I'll grab it from the mines because I don't think they'll be fully used. Orange, and then of course 2 isn't enough to break either of these walls, so the explosion won't continue in these spaces for the row of 5. Okay, so red, red. Here's orange against Kendall. So as long as Kendall's health, our defense is 2, which I believe it is. Yeah, so no damage there. Okay. So it won't matter his placement. I will check though before bringing you back. And cool. So nice little turn there by Cherokee Bill. So in order to activate that, I had to attach my last command point to the shoot order here. And that's what we got. So that's actually a great turn to break open those doors. That's going to really help the NORADs navigate. Now the Salamites have 1 command point left. And unfortunately none of the characters have a lot of orders that they can take left. So I think we'll use it to draw. Oh no, Frank Einstein has used up 4 of his 5. And so I don't think it's worth it to use a 3 torture this round. So what we'll do is we'll spend this last command point and try and grab 2 low interacts on the same tile is what we want. No interacts on all, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll refresh everything. I'll bring you guys right back to this scenario, Rescue James Wu. Thanks for watching.